Every story holds a spark of the human spirit. It's time to really let that light shine. This is Conjuring the Human Spirit, hosted by Shawn Meeks, a space for honest conversations, deep connection, and the shared journey of being fully alive. This season, Shawn also welcomes guests who open up about their own transformations and experiences, reminding us all what it means to heal, grow, and thrive, one story at a time. You're invited. Let's begin.
Have you ever wondered why your best work feels effortless? Or why sometimes you're capable of 500% more than you think you are? That's because you are. And it's not magic. It's not a mystery. It's biological chemistry. I'm Shawn Meeks, and today I'm going to give you some tips and tricks discovered by researchers that turn on the full magic of you. This is a real place, y'all, and it's called flow. So please share one intentional breath with me in and out. Let's begin. They call it the zone. Athletes talk about it like it's a religious experience. Artists talk about it like they've been possessed by a muse. Heck, I'm here on the farm working on this barn renovation, and I realize I haven't looked at my phone all day. Haven't thought about my bills or my troubles. I haven't even felt the ache in my entire body, in my low back. It's as if in that moment, myself, the part of me that's Shawn Meeks, has completely vanished. And at that moment, I'm not trying to build something. I seem to be the building. And it feels oh so good. Have you ever heard of this place? It's called flow. I think I've been unknowingly hocus-pocusing myself into this zone for almost 3 years now, since I bought this retreat place. And perhaps I've been seeking this state of being for most of my adult life. It's quite addictive place. I've gone from a 32nd floor high-rise in Texas selling million-dollar condominiums like hotcakes to a show-stopping top-floor oceanfront condo renovation to now a major restoration of a broken-down 4,000-square-foot retreat on 41 overgrown acres. Share a breath. Woo! I've done most of it myself. Upon reflection, it does sound exhausting, but I've been in the flow, lost in the magic of my life, moving mountains and looking up every once in a while at everyone saying, "What? What's the big deal?" Maybe you've had a moment like this, or years like me. Because you know you're there when you're focused, you're in the zone, and suddenly you look up and realize that 5 hours has passed. I mean, in what felt like 5 minutes. That voice in your head, you know, that inner critic that always is talking and judging your every move. You know what I'm talking about. It goes silent. Because somehow, some way, you've stepped from this place of trying to do the work to this place where, I guess, the work is doing you. Most people think flow is a happy accident, a hippy-dippy term, in the flow. They think it's about having the right vibe or a specific personality. But I'm here to tell you today, feeling most alive in your life, and that's what they call the flow, feeling most alive in your life, it's no accident. It's alignment. You have a choice. You can do this. And if you want to consistently perform your best and feel your best, ready for this? You have to stop looking at your therapist and start looking at your neurobiology. Oh God, you're probably thinking, did he just say neurobiology? Time to change the channel. Turn me off. Stay with me, human, because we are going into the engine room of your human brain, and we're going to do it like a high school education level kind of way. It's actually wired for the impossible. Your brain, you, yes, yours, maybe all you have is a high school education like me. But you too are wired for the impossible, because the state of flow, it's just not for the elite or the uber wealthy or the uber educated, but the flow state is for a regular human just like you and me. As a matter of fact, flow exists in most mammals, particularly in social mammals like us. And I am here, as always, to remind you, human, again today, that you, my friend, are just a filthy animal, a mammal. And today we're going to talk about your biology and how to use it to your advantage. When we talk about our performance or lack of performance, we usually use metaphors. We say things like, I'm just not in the right headspace, or my mind is elsewhere. I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed, or I'm just not up to it. That, my friend, is your psychology. Things causing you to feel this way are unique to you, something that you talk to your therapist about. Because that's just merely a snapshot that describes how something on the outside of you is affecting your behavior. In other words, those statements about how you're feeling, not in the right headspace kind of things, they're usually a reaction to something someone has said or done, or maybe to an event that's happening outside of you. Whatever the case, it is pushing on your very unique emotional buttons and holding you back. Maybe these buttons were created by your mother or Karen in the 3rd grade. It causes you to feel overwhelmed or not in the right headspace, which impacts your actions and your performance in your life. You've been blaming them for years. It's an interruption of you and an interpretation of how you're feeling based on your very unique circumstances. So again, to bottom line it, it's something that's outside of you that's causing you to uniquely feel this way. It's time to talk to your therapist. On the contrary, when we begin to look at your life using neurobiology, we're looking at it from the inside out. I'm talking about looking at your life through what is happening chemically inside of you. These are levers. You have a choice. You can pull these levers. It is a mechanism of human biology, things like neurotransmitters or brain regions and the nervous system. They dictate our reality regardless of what Karen said or what Mama did or what we're experiencing. So unlike your unique circumstances with your mom or Karen, it's human biology. And because of that, this is the best part. It's reliable. It's repeatable. So what works for me will also work for you. And that's great news. And it's why I'm certain the tips and tricks I will share with you today will work. So I'm asking you again, please don't tune out as you hear these scientific words. I'm certainly no scientist, but the science is clear. And I intend to break it down so you can maximize your performance and live a life where you feel fully alive. Don't you want that? I know I do. Because when you are in the flow state, scientists say you experience, ready for it, hypo frontality. That's a big way of saying that the front office of your brain takes a break, goes to lunch, pieces out, powers down. This power, it's power, baby. It powers down, right? It overwhelms us often, doesn't it? Because this part of your brain handles your sense of self, your self-consciousness, and your worry about how others perceive you. I know you don't feel that way, do you? It is the place of endless chatter in your head. You don't have that, do you? I know all of you know where that place is. And when that area goes quiet, you drop into what scientists call the deep now. Again, remember, this is science. This isn't Shawn's perception. This is science. You drop into the deep now, the present moment, where the ego, all that chatter, vanishes. You stop constant chatter and worry. It's a place where the human spirit of you finally find room to breathe. And when you give the spirit permission to breathe, your body rewards you. It's euphoric. You've never felt so fully alive. And that's because you have a world-class drugstore right between your ears, rewarding you for giving your spirit a break. Imagine that. When you're in the flow, your brain naturally mixes 5 or 6 of the most powerful chemicals on earth. You get dopamine for engagement. Dopamine, it's equivalent to cocaine. Norepinephrine for laser focus. That's equivalent to crystal meth. Endorphins to kill pain. Endorphins are like Percocet. Anandamide, which is your brain's natural version of weed. Yes, you get all of those at the same time when you're in flow. Do I have your attention? No wonder it's addictive, and no wonder I'm chasing it. I have a bit of an addictive personality. Imagine trying to mix those drugs in the real world. It just doesn't work. All these drugs, when taken in the real world, cancel each other out, but your biology does it magically. And it does it to help you survive and thrive and give your spirit permission to breathe. It's why the flow state is the most addictive state on earth. And for good reason. It's where we feel most alive. But here's the catch. There are things that block flow. And as an example, you can't find flow if you're operating from a place of fear and if you're distracted in any way. Are you in fear or distracted? Is there anything causing you to be fearful? Maybe a war or AI taking over, maybe a notification on your phone, or even a knock at the door, science says, will either knock you out of flow or you won't even be able to drop in at all. So consider for a moment how distracted you are by your device with all the dinging and ringing and fear-mongering headlines at your fingertips. If you choose to always be on, then you may never have the opportunity to experience the place where you feel most alive. Here's another interesting fact about flow. If you can't pay your bills, and I mean pay them and still have a little bit more money to enjoy your life, then your fear network is always lit up. And fear blocks flow every time. So step one in finding flow means you have to find a way to make enough money to survive, plus just a little bit more. And once you have that, you can switch your motivators from money and survival to the flow rocket that is curiosity, passion, and purpose. These are the levers. Think of these as motivators: curiosity, passion, and purpose. Think of them as a 3-stage rocket blasting your way toward flow. Stage 1 is curiosity. And curiosity is the place where the rocket gets ignited, flooding your body with dopamine, essentially cocaine. Curiosity is the biological starting point toward flow. So when you're curious in your life, your brain releases cocaine, dopamine. Who doesn't want that? Think of that as the chemical anticipation and excitement. I mean, it tells your brain that something important is here. Pay attention. It narrows your focus and ignites the rocket. One thing they know for sure, you can't get into flow if you're bored. So you, human, endlessly scrolling on your phone or binging, binge after binge, distracted after distracted. You have to get genuinely curious in your life. So here's a micro challenge for you. Where can you get genuinely curious in your life? Because curiosity ignites the rocket. And once the rocket is lit, suddenly multiple curiosities fire together. And that's where you find stage 2. And that's the fuel. That's passion. And when passions collide, the brain recognition systems fire at a higher rate. You know what I'm talking about. If you've ever done a crossword puzzle or Sudoku and you get an answer right, then suddenly you get a few more in a row. You know what I'm talking about. That's because your body released a little bit of cocaine, a little bit of dopamine for you. You're welcome. I mean, you get the first one right, and now you suddenly get better at pattern recognition. That's your biology. Your brain processes information faster and more efficiently, which means more dopamine, which leads to more creativity, which leads to more dopamine. And this, my friend, is where the effortless feeling of flow begins to take hold. You've ignited the rocket with your curiosity, filled it with the fuel of passion, and boom, now you're off. Stage 3 is launching you to your purpose. If I had a nickel for all the clients and people who message me that ask me, how do I find my purpose? Well, it doesn't start with finding your purpose. It starts with Curiosity. Where can you get curious and get excited in your life so your body can reward you? And you can have multiple curiosities, which leads to passion, which ultimately leads to stage 3, which is purpose. Because stage 3, that's the big picture. That's your guidance system of the rocket itself. And that is purpose. Purpose is passion directed outward, meaning if you move from saying, I really like this, and I think it's my passion, to a place where you believe that the world needs this, then that becomes your purpose. Well, purpose adds even more internal drugs like norepinephrine and oxytocin to the mix. It quiets the noise of the nonstop chatter in your head. Why? Because the task is no longer about you. It's about the big picture, the mission, your purpose. That sound good when you say your purpose, like you're grounded in something, right? Purpose provides the North Star. Doesn't sound like groundedness. The guidance system, the clear goal. Flow always follows focus. Focusing on curiosity ignites deeper focus with passion, which leads to the ultimate focus, which is purpose. You have the choice to pull these biological levers. They're not unique to me. They're at your disposal too. And following these 3 steps ensures that your biological energy isn't being wasted and scattered in dozen directions. And it sets the stage for continued flow. Who doesn't want that? Because with these 3 stages activated, your body naturally mixes a wonderful cocktail of drugs. Curiosity is dopamine, passion, endorphins, purpose, oxytocin, serotonin. Welcome, 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 everyone, to the flow cycle, where your brain has entered the deep now and has gone from constantly scanning in fear and the tunnel vision to now a tunnel vision of purpose and the vision of flow. So today we learned what flow is and how curiosity, passion, and purpose can propel you there. But we also learned that financial insecurity, fear, and distractions will keep you from even attaining the flow state or will knock you out quickly. So here are 6 micro challenges that science says will encourage the spirit of you to step into flow. Number 1, you're not going to like this, no excuses. 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night is required. And they say you can't get 3 hours on Monday and 10 hours on Tuesday and catch up. There's no catching up on sleep. 7 to 8 hours of sleep is required every night. Number 2, make sure you're hydrated and eat well. Science says there's no magic food for flow. So have McDonald's or whatever you want, but eat well and stay hydrated. Number 3, check your social support. I'm not talking about 2,000 Instagram followers. Science says just a couple good friends will do the trick. Number 4, we talk about it on this pod all the time, and that's gratitude. List 3 things you're grateful for every day and turn the last one into a paragraph. Or maybe 10 things you're grateful for and write them each 3 times. It doesn't matter, but just be grateful, because science shows us that we have a negativity bias when we take in about 9 bits of negative information for every positive bit that comes through. That's why these negative political ads work. It's our biology. But with a gratitude practice, it points out to the brain that, hey, things are good. And it takes us from a negative bias from 9 to 1 to 5 to 1. So we take in a lot less negative stuff, which allows us to be more positive. Who doesn't want that? And positive stuff comes through, and that triggers flow. Who doesn't want flow? Number 5, mindfulness. They say just 11 minutes a day. They didn't say 10. They didn't say 12. 11 minutes, science. Imagine that. Science is a real thing. 11 minutes a day of doing things like following your breath or some guided meditation. It's enough to really calm down your nervous system and propel you toward flow. And finally, number 6, exercise about 20 to 40 minutes a day. The goal here is to exercise until that voice in your head, it gets quiet and your lungs open up. Both of these things happen because there's a release of nitrous oxide, which flushes your system of stress hormones. Again, it's your biology pulling these levers. One of the researchers said that during the COVID pandemic, he made everyone in his office do all 6 every day because the stressors of the pandemic were just so high. These are great tools for all of us to reach for in times of stress instead of psychopharmaceuticals or alcohol. How many of these things are you willing to do each day or this week? Because you are so much more capable than you know. You are hardwired, friend, human. You are hardwired for peak performance. Whether you're quilting, giving a speech, or renovating a barn, your biology is simply waiting for you to give it the right environment. So this week, I give you permission to turn off the distractions, quiet the fear, ignite curiosity in your life, fuel your passion, and allow the human spirit of you to step into this place of purpose and flow where you feel most alive. It's your biology. It's your birthright. Your willingness is the magic key. I hope this was helpful. I wish you flow in your life. Meanwhile, I'm Shawn McGuire-Meeks over here trying to find flow myself, sending you big hugs and love from me, Jeff, Rumi Plato, and Mr. Frog here at the farm.
You've been listening to Conjuring the Human Spirit with Shawn McGuire-Meeks. To connect with Shawn, learn more about working one-on-one, or to grab your spot for an upcoming workshop, visit McGuireLife.com or tap the link in this episode's description. Thank you for joining us, and remember, you're not alone.